Welcome in, everybody, to our first top 12, not quite top 8, for RCS Season 8. Glad everybody could join us today. Of course, Bros It with Akashi. What's going on, Akashi?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good. I've been having a lot of fun watching this this bracket going on so far. It's been a really exciting one. A lot of big winners runs coming in, a lot of exciting losers runs coming in. We've got a few of those on the way here because we're going to be going through the top 8 qualifiers in just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we've got so much content. We can't just keep it to just top 8. I mean, and this has been a really great setup that we've seen so far. I mean, you've been filling me in on what we're looking forward to as far as this top 8. A lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces as well.
Yeah.
Forgive my my 1999 webcam right now. I had to get something on the web to make it work. But here we are.
The people know you're still beautiful. They know you're still beautiful. They know.
Oh, I'm just beautiful in 400p is all. That's all.
Well, we are going to be starting off here with the first set of losers top 8 qualifier, and that is Codek versus Omar. Codek, a top 20 player ranked last season. Omar, kind of a hidden player, very low key. Had a good run at Gommel, beat Munikel, I believe, to get into the winner's side of top 16, and is now on the cusp of making his first top 8 appearance.
Well, and so it's funny that you mentioned right off the bat that we're going to be looking at the top 20 player here, because of course this being an RCS event is one of, I believe, 4 that you need for those top 50 qualifiers at the end of the year. Let's see how game 1 starts.
Yeah, we're going to be going on to Merchant Port for game number 1. And this matchup is kind of interesting because Rano has the better projectile, right? He's got Needle. You know, we both know how Needle goes. It's a classic, you know. But SK has just some really solid raw disjoint that can just beat out Rano's buttons. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how Omar takes good advantage of that in going for these edge guards.
And of course, this is your first time really seeing Rano in a competitive level after the changes made in the most recent patch, and you've seen some people adapt to those quickly, some people take a little bit of extra time, but Codek not really doing too bad with what we've seen so far. Decent start already, and kind of gets out of that string too, and that's the biggest part when you're facing Shovel Knight, is you just don't want to get caught up with things that aren't necessarily real, but are very scary nonetheless.
Exactly. And I mean, in this case, at 131, oh dear, okay, you might not want to have something like that happen at the start of the game. But I guess you get those nerves out of the way early.
Sure.
But Rano has always been a masterclass in being able to edge guard, being able to combo, and none of that really changed with the most recent patch. You already see, Omar's taken a whole 60+% on his second stock, and Codek has shown no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, you might have had a screwdriver taken out of the toolbox, but the toolbox is still there.
Yeah, you still got
the way that Codek is kind of moving around the screen right now. I mean, this is what it's based off, right? You are winning the position game, you're winning the percent game for the most part, and you're just keeping that pressure up no matter where you are on the screen.
Exactly, and look at that nice little single needle there, just to kind of apply a little pressure, interrupt Omar's positioning, and get him a little flustered before actually being able to do something. Down tilt out smash, not going to kill yet. But next one's probably going to do it.
But you're up a stock right now. You're in a good position. Omar's going to go down there, get a little bit more resources, but hasn't really had a chance to get too much. Finally crosses the 1200 threshold there. So going to make things a little bit more available once we get a kind of a position to pull that chest out.
Yeah, exactly. And right now we've got the momentum, which is pretty big. And a lot of people will say Shovel Knight's a solid character, but what really makes him is his tools. Your different armors, your different items. Here we got the mobile gear coming out. Wants a little help in holding down the neutral, which is understandable. Rano is a bit of a neutral monster.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, he held it!
Just the tip of that, too. I mean, that's such fantastic spacing on that. And like you said, waiting till that exact last moment to let that rip. I mean, that's the difference of a Galaxy screen right there.
Exactly, and that's the difference now between last stock, game number 1, and a potential growing lead for Codek right now, which is suddenly shifted into Omar's lead.
That's honestly a fantastic run on this, too. I mean, started off in a rough spot with that SD, but coming back very, very quickly and confidently. Now Codek is answering.
Oh, they're triple back here! Yeah! Codek was like, no, wait, hang on a second. I was winning this game, but I'm going to keep winning this game.
Mobile gear kind of allowing Omar back into the stage a little bit. And here's this pressure situation at the end of that first stock early, too. Or, excuse me, second stock.
Oh, no! Unfortunately,
not how you want to DI, Akashi. Not how you want to DI when a top 8 berth is on the line.
Yeah, the one little caveat of Shovel Knight up smash is that it actually has a slight angle out, so you need to hold out more on SK up smash than you would like any other up smash. So holding in actually kills you off the top faster, and that's what gives Omar the first game.
And it's execution, right? You know, that's what we've seen a lot with, you know, Rivals as it's advanced. You know, we kind of understand how these characters interact in the meta, but a lot of it comes down to those individual moments. And that was just that stressor that broke there. Omar overcoming a lot of adversity in game 1 to kind of punch even closer to this top 8 berth. We'll see how this goes in game 2, headed to Tower of Heaven.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Codek, you probably think, okay, that wasn't too bad. Like, I still had a lead, I still had control over most of the game, and my neutral hasn't really faltered. It was just that one small error, you know? And
sure.
If you're a top player, you don't let that kind of stuff get to you. You know, you keep firing back, you keep pushing forward through it.
Oh, it's definitely not a mentality thing. I really feel like it's going to come down to kind of the general. I like to think of like neutral as the conversation, right? Who has the control over this? Because you know that right there is big. You know, we talked about in the first game. You know, knowing what's real from Shovel Knight and what's not.
Exactly. Yeah.
This has been a good start for Omar, and we're kind of curious to see if Codek can now kind of check this, right?
Yeah, because he is getting hit with some things that, you know, it would be considered like a little bit of a matchup check in some degree. Omar's a fantastic player as well, like, been doing some amazing stuff this whole bracket. Because, like, oh my god, 2 for flinching, he said!
Oh, man. And 2 for flinching and 2 for 2 on holding charges for takeout stocks.
Yeah, he's playing the mental game a little bit. He's saying, like, I know you're going to flinch. If I hold this for long enough, you're going to flinch. And he's forcing Codek to steal his fortitude a little bit, you know? He's saying, like, if you keep flinching, I'm just going to get stronger hits on you. And I'm going to just keep taking these games away from you.
And that's another one there, too. Like, we saw him kind of have that little shimmy in neutral that allowed an extra damage and then also to get the momentum mail already as well.
Yeah, and right now, Omar does make it back to stage. Codek really struggling to find this kill right now. Hasn't been able to find the neutral opening that he really needs or the edge guard.
Tough trades, too, as they're trying to come back on the left-hand side. You know, we saw what was potentially a stock is now a stock loss for Codek. And, you know, tough situation.
Yeah, now up. Okay, yeah, still up a stock right now in this game number 2. I was about to say he's up 2, but Codek keeping it together, still managing to find the up strongs where they are.
The big thing, though, is, I mean, we're only a couple, like, you know, such a short time into this game, too, but you have full items on deck for Shovel Knight, and you also have that stock lead you're talking about. It is imperative that Codek take this as far as possible.
Yeah, you want to try and clean this up as quickly as possible with as minimal damage, and right now, this is going to look a little scary. This Fairy Punish is looking pretty solid. 30 quick onto Codek, and it's still climbing. SK's a bit of a beefy lad. He's not exactly what one would say, you know, he's not a lightweight. He's not exactly like Absa or Rast or anything. Like he's got some meat on him.
I was actually just thinking that too. Yeah, up smash on that top platform, huge for him there. So it has a position to kind of bring this back in now. Kind of see if he can flip the script from the first game and have his own comeback, right? Yeah,
exactly. Because I mean, like right here, like we've got Omar in the corner, and as I say that, unfortunately now we've got Codek in the corner. But keeping your opponent there is like just such a huge boon for a character like Rondo who has such fast buttons. He's able to kind of like apply a lot of like micro spacing pressure.
Yeah, and the tough part is on that left-hand side, and even on the right-hand side there, Codek put themselves in a position where they could parry the up B, but instead weren't in a position to do it. But, you know, hey, listen, fair off the side is still fair off the side, right?
Yeah, the tried and true classic. Sometimes you catch someone holding in on a forwarder, and you're like, they never learn. And then you just take game 2.
If I do.
Exactly. Like you said before, we saw the reversal of what happened in game 1. One wrong DI situation caused the entire game. And now it's one apiece. And we're seeing Omar take Codek to his counter pick of Triple Pawn for game number 3. I like the idea of overhangs. There go.
Yeah, right? So it's just going to mix up how both of these guys can recover because... You know, Shovel Knight with I would argue a better recovery, but like both of them are exploitable given the tools that they have.
Exactly, yeah.
But what I found interesting is like both of those first 2 games actually went around the same amount of time, so there hasn't really been any kind of like slobber knocker of a game so far between these 2 players. Both of them feel pretty evenly paced. Both of them having time to figure out the mental.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing them kind of bob and weave between the more aggressive, like, button pushing and the more, like, I'm going to just charge my needles and I'm going to just wait for you to come over here. Because I don't really need to go out of my way, especially when I have the lead and you have full stats, to approach you. Like, I shouldn't be putting myself in bad situations like that.
Ooh, nice drop through backer there.
Yeah, we're seeing Omar back off stage again. Even if SK can thrive there and get some quick cash, it's not exactly a place you want to be against a character like Rano, who's forward air, nair, even back airs can just send you right back off stage. Raw attack is a neutral I've not seen since 2018.
Listen, man, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
And that is going to be enough on the second one there. I will say, though, I really like the idea of saying, all right, they're not going to challenge this off stage. I have time to go pull my golden fish. I'll see it back on stage in a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually one thing that's very funny is that there are only so many characters that can actually go off stage and challenge SK safely when he's doing the fishing. Because a lot of the time, they like to fish near the wall so that even if they get hit, they can tech and they can get themselves maybe a little cheeky bit of damage out of it and return back to stage with their fish.
Mm-hmm. You get the reversal, you get the fish, you get the money on top of it. Sometimes you even get a stock out of it. Nice tech, though.
Yeah, fantastic tech. Like, that was such great awareness off of that up smash, too. Like, no more holding in. Uses the fact that there's a rock there to keep the momentum going in their favor.
Speaking of momentum, here comes the mail, here comes the fish, and we're back against the neutral. 105, 112, and that's a stock gone.
Yeah, just like that. He waited for just like a split second, too, because he was like, okay, just in case he flinches and he does parry, I don't want to get punished for this, so I'm going to just keep it nice and simple, nice and clean.
Oh, speaking of keeping it clean there.
Yeah, gets hit by the command grab. Takes a little bit of damage off. Oh, this is a scary spot to be in. Doesn't get the ledge cancel, but goes for a downer off of that parry punish. Interesting.
Yeah, that was a very scary situation that Codek managed to find their way out of, but it's still not out of the woods yet. Has to clean this up. You know, we saw what happened game 1 and then game 2 in reverse, so we'll see which player can kind of keep their composure here in this last stock situation.
Exactly, and we saw Codek was using that top platform to play a little more defensively there because he has such a large lead that he doesn't really need to push the situation any more than he needs to, you know? Just says, alright, you know, SK, come to me.
There's the familiarity / maybe the online factor being an interest there. You know, going again for that parry on the up B, missing it and getting punished for it, and now it's a stock apiece.
Yeah, but we see the Ghost Gloves coming in, but nope, doesn't matter. Down to up smash still working and still getting Codek the game.
Now, forgive me, I actually meant to ask about this before getting to the we're not going straight into top 8. This is still best of 5, or is this best of 3 before we get to the finals?
This is going to be best of 5 to my understanding. Most RCS tournaments will do best of 5 after pools.
Ah, gotcha.
So we are going to see a best of 5. Codek's up to 1, but he hasn't clinched the top 8 finisher just yet. Omar still got a chance to bring it back. But it is game 3, or it is game 4. So
the counter-pick war continues.
Yep. And we're going to Spirit Tree, one of the smallest stages in the game. It's sometimes known as the chaos stage in certain matchups because of the way that you can kind of just fly off the side or soar off the top.
I was going to say in certain matchups. I mean, the buttons are the buttons sometimes.
That's also disappear. True. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you're not ready for it.
This is one of those times, Akashi. I'm worried.
No!
Yeah, just like that. You saw the hits start coming, they didn't stop coming, and next thing you know, you're off the top.
Yeah, and just like that, only 6% on Codek right now. He's feeling himself after that game, I think. After that game 3, he's like, no, you know, I still got this. I'm fine. I'm Rano. Omar's gonna have to do something big right now because he's getting stuff out in a lot of these approaches. Using the great gift of Rano backer to just kind of keep Omar out as much as possible.
I'm begging you, just punish the landing.
Yeah, it's tough.
We are 0 for 5 on that. It's just, and you're right. It's not a like a knock against Codek. It's a tough thing to deal with.
Yeah, no, because again, like Rano's aerial drift might be a bit of a. Oh my! He said, "I'm coming for you."
Yeah, it honestly doesn't matter if you're going to hit those up B techs if you're just going to kill them at 90 every time. So you know what? Keep on doing your thing. This is going to be huge.
Yeah, 4 stacks, gets 63 and off stage right now. 3 stocks to 1. This is looking dangerous. Omar's going to need to do something big to come back from this, but never mind. Forward air spike into the up strong. Another classic Rano kill setup is going to seal it with a 3 stock for Codek, 3-1, moving him into top 8.
And just a % over 100 in the process too.
Right.
That is what you want as momentum. If you're gonna blast your way into top 8, you want to be able to say, all right, not only did I have a come from behind victory, because you start that set off 1-0, right? You're in the hole.
Yeah.
But have 3 straight wins, and then your last one be a decisive 3 stock too. I mean, just really, really good stuff. And that, like I said, is the top 8 for them too.
Yeah, no disrespect to Omar either. Fantastic performance getting 9th place at this bracket. Like incredibly stacked one at that.
Oh man, you don't make it to, in this case, 9th or 13th, 9th, right?
Yeah, that was 9th.
9th in an online event for Rivals, especially the first one that everybody's paying attention to. You get this knocked out of the way. Now you only have a couple more before you're qualified for your 50 spot. This is a huge bracket that everybody's a part of.
Exactly, and I mean with SK of all characters too, a character that we don't really see all that often either. That character. Not really hotly contested, but sort of kind of disappeared after a little while. Like pandemic came around.